Good evening, everyone. My name is Robert Bradfield, and welcome to Back to School Night for the 2020-2021 year. We're going to look a little different this year, but I'm really excited to be back and to work with our students again. So before we get into any information, I'd like to say that the best way to get in touch with me is to email me at rbradfield@hazlitt.org. So here's a little bit about me. This is actually my 16th year here at Raritan High School. I got this job right out of college. I graduated from St. Peter's University in 2005 and in May and had this job in June. So I was extremely fortunate to get this job here at Raritan High School right out of college. I'm originally from the city of Newark. I went to school at St. Peter's Prep in Jersey City. And when I was a senior in high school, I was a part of an Italian exchange program where I lived in Italy with a host family for a summer and attended their high school. And then likewise, he came here and he was a part of our family for a while and came to our high school. And it was there that I really fell in love with the language and the culture. And I came back from that experience and majored in Italian at St. Peter's. My wife and I live in Middletown, so we're right down the road. And we have three children. Victoria, who is 4 years old. She is in her second year of pre-K. And then there is Robbie Jr., and he is about to turn 3. And little Samantha, who just turned 1. So our house is extremely hectic and not very quiet, and I love it that way, though. So here's a picture of me and my family, just so you guys get an idea of what I have at home. Now, I use this app called Remind, which allows me to communicate with my students. And it'll also allow for you parents to sign up and to receive the same alerts that I send to my students. The purpose of this is to remind my kids when they have something that is due for me or a test coming up or a project that is due. It allows me to text them, but it is not my personal cell phone number. It records every text message that is sent, so nothing can be deleted. And it is a safe way for me to communicate with the students. Oh, and it does not allow them to text me back, which is the best part of it all. So depending on your level of where your child is, you would send a text message to the number 81010, and then in the message of your text, you are going to put the @ symbol and then the code for the appropriate level that you see here. Here are the codes to our Google Classroom, just in case you ever need them. I just want to run through some of our protocol with you, new this year because of COVID. So upon entering the room for every student, we have our sanitary wipes set up. They are to take one, wipe down their desk, throw them away, use some hand sanitizer, and they are sitting in the same seats all year. This way, we're cutting down on the spread of anything. Now, each of you should have received this from our principal. This is our virtual etiquette, and we developed this in order to properly display the expectations of what is to happen when our all virtual and our hybrid students are on our Google Meet sessions. And so I'm just going to highlight a couple of the important parts here. The first is that students are expected to sign in at the beginning of every class to our Google Meet. They need to have their webcam on so that we can see their faces. and that must remain on for the entirety of the lesson. Our expectation is that they are signed in at the beginning of class, attendance is taken, instructions are given, and that they are, if we let them go to do some individual work, that they must be on for the last 10 minutes of class as well and come back on again with their camera on. The other expectation is that they are in a distraction-free environment and they are appropriately dressed for school. So we want to make sure that they are not lying down in bed with covers on and in their pajamas. Now, since the Chromebooks are such an integral part of what we are doing this year, in the case that any of them are broken or not working properly, the email to reach our service department is service@hazlitt.org. And I urge you to tell your children to please reach out to them in case they have any issues regarding the Chromebooks. So the biggest issues that we face in class are, as far as our work, is that because we use the Google platform, it is extremely easy to make copies of things and share them amongst one another. And the other aspect of the having everything at our fingertips on the internet is that Google Translate is extremely easy to use. And so that is what we are focusing here in this class, is to cut down on the sharing of work and the usage of a translator. That's why in my class, the vast majority of our work is done in class. I like to be here with them in case they have any questions. I also get to monitor their progress as they are doing it, and it limits, like I said, the usage of the translator and the sharing of work. Now, I grade on what's called a point system, and so everything that I give my students has a concrete point value assigned to it. At the end of the marking period, what happens is the computer adds up all of the possible points that I have assigned, and it is divided by the number of points that they received. This way, their grade is black and white, very easy to understand, and everyone can see where it's coming from. Like I said before, the majority of our work is classwork that we do here together. I give very little homework, although it does pop up throughout the marking period. I do also like to balance the amount for every marking period, at least one test that I will also give a project for as well. This way, if somebody doesn't do as well as they wanted to on the test, they have an opportunity to make it up with their project. For our late work, I am extremely understanding. If there is an extenuating circumstance or something coming up that is keeping the students from being able to hand something in on time, or something happened that caused them to turn it in late, I am extremely flexible and understanding, but they need to communicate that with me. Otherwise, because of what we mentioned before, it's extremely easy for late work to be turned in that's not theirs. And so we limit the amount of late work that is accepted. This year, I am here. I can be here at any day after school. I live very close. As long as they let me know that they need me to stay, I am here. And I highly suggest that they take advantage of the extra help that I offer, especially if they are struggling or need some extra attention on some material. They did, in a normal year, offer late buses, but this year is a little different, especially if you're a virtual student. Anyway, again, Bradfield@hazlitt.org is the best way to get in touch with me, and just to let me know that we need to stay after school or to set up a Google Meet where we go over our material. Our cell phone policy here in school is for them not to be seen. So just so you know, we typically don't have an issue with that in my class. our goals for the different levels. So Italian 1, our goal is to get them familiar with hearing the language and using vocabulary. We do a lot of vocabulary in Italian 1 to get them comfortable speaking it. We like to have very simple conversations where they're practically using that vocabulary. In Italian 2, we expand on the grammar where we look at multiple different verb tenses. And we switch from present tense to past, the imperfect, the future, and then Italian 3 honors, we look at the subjunctive tenses, which allows us to properly convey our opinions. Italian 4 honors, we practically apply all of that grammar that we've learned in levels 1 through 3 in units that are designed around different topics. For example, art and music, where their projects are devoted to that vocabulary and those grammar lessons that we've learned before, where they're able to practically apply them. And then lastly is AP Italian. And in AP, we strive to do our best to prepare for the AP exam that is in May. It is an extremely challenging class and one that I look forward to probably the most because our rapport with one another has developed over the years. They're all seniors and they obviously want to be there and want to take the class and challenge themselves. And so ultimately, at the end of all this, I just hope that they are not only learning something along the way about the culture and about the language of Italy and Italian, but that they are having fun while they're doing it. I am always available for extra help or to just be somebody to listen. So please, again, urge them to be open and communicate with me. And I am here for not only my students, but for you, the parents as well. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. And I really look forward to working with your children this year. Again, my name is Robert Bradfield, and it's been a pleasure. Have a great night.